My fellow bassists, welcome back. I've been playing bass for 20 years, and throughout this journey I've had some amazing teachers and some not so great teachers. I've tried a lot of different exercises, approaches, and beliefs about music, and I can tell you that some of them might really slow down your bass progress, or even worse, actually set you back on your bass journey. Chances are you've probably been given some of these pieces of advice, so I just wanted to let you know which advice to ignore so that I can save you many hours of frustration. I'll also show you some exercises that can help counteract some of the bad advice that you might have received. Okay, so the number one piece of bad advice: don't work on your technique. There's a bit of a myth that if you try to improve your technique through scales and exercises, then you'll end up being less creative and less musical. This is really bad advice because having good technique actually allows you to play more musically. And the better your technique is, the less you have to think about it, which frees up your brain for the more fun stuff like articulations and dynamics and feel. Now, of course, it's possible to go too far and only ever practice technique exercises, which means that you never practice playing actual music and everything you play just sounds really boring and like an exercise. But having technique is what gives you the freedom to be really musical and play stuff like this. In that bass solo, I do quite a few double pops, which I used to find pretty much impossible until I created this exercise for myself. See if you can play it along with me. If you want to download that full exercise video along with hundreds of other exercises that'll take your technique to the next level, right now I'm offering a free trial of the Basecamp Patreon if you just slap the link in the description below. Alright, the next piece of horrible advice is don't learn to play solos. I think most of us know that in most bands, the bassist only gets to solo maybe once per show or maybe never. So this has led some bass teachers to recommend that you just never learn how to play a bass solo because a lot of band leaders and producers just only want you to play bass lines anyway, and in fact, they might even get kind of annoyed at you if you try to play a bass solo. I don't think this is that helpful or even accurate. When I come up with a bass solo idea that fits the song well and sounds good, then usually the rest of the band or producer, whoever it is actually really excited because this is something quite unusual, but it sounds cool. Being able to play a really good bass solo can definitely set you apart from everyone else and help you land the gig of your dreams. It's especially true in live situations where bass solos are actually not that uncommon. As long as you can still play the actual bass lines well, obviously, then having the ability to play a great bass solo can only help you. Alright, this next one's kind of a funny one. You never have to change strings because they sound better and better as they get older. This one is a little bit subjective and it depends a bit on the style of music that you play. So when bass strings get older, they also get darker, which actually means that they lose a lot of their high frequencies, which would otherwise give them that bright, snappy sound. So if you're playing modern sounding bass lines, especially anything that has slap and tap and that kind of thing, then it's going to sound much worse with old strings because you just don't have that clarity that you need. But if you're playing more retro sounding bass lines, then it actually might give you that dark tone that you're looking for. I would still recommend using new strings just as a general rule of thumb because you can always adjust your EQ or put on flat wound strings if you want a darker tone, whereas it's really hard to make old strings sound bright and new. Okay, the next one is music theory kills creativity. This one's similar to the technique one. So music theory knowledge can actually increase your creativity because it can give you new ideas for chord progressions or different scales that you can use in solos or different composition techniques. So having a deep understanding of music theory can absolutely give you some really nice tools to transform your creativity into really good music. Of course, just like with technique, it's possible to take music theory too far and focus all of your time on just learning complex chord progressions and exotic scales and things like that. And that then just gives you zero time to focus on any of the other aspects of music. But as long as you're taking a balanced approach, then learning some music theory will definitely help you in your bass journey. One of the most helpful music theory exercises for bassists is the diatonic triads exercise. It's kind of boring, but it will really help you to know which notes to play when you look at chords in a chord progression. See if you can play it along with me now. Practicing those diatonic triads in every single key will make it way easier for you to improvise bass lines over chords, because you'll just have all of those notes ready to go right under your fingertips. If you want to finally understand how to apply music theory to your bass playing, again, just tap the link in the description, because right now you can get my entire Playing with Music Theory course with a free trial of the Basecamp Patreon. Okay, the last piece of bad advice might surprise you because it actually sounds quite wholesome and well-intentioned. Just be original, don't copy others. The reason this is not good advice is that we need to take inspiration from other musicians in order to learn. Sure, we can learn some technique and theory from teachers and videos, but in order to create music that really connects with people, we do need to listen to great music and be inspired by it. If you focus too much on being completely original, then you might end up isolating yourself and just kind of creating music that no one can really understand. In my opinion, the best way to be original is to listen to a lot of music that inspires you and then figure out why it inspires you. Maybe it's just a really nice chord progression or a beautiful melody that just resolves perfectly. Then try incorporating some of these elements into your own music, and once you combine enough of these influences and then add some of your own flair to it, you'll find that you have a very unique and original sound that people can still understand and relate to. Of course, I'm not telling you to plagiarize other artists and just take an entire melody and put it in your song and call it your own, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing something like taking a chord progression that you really like, but writing a new melody on top of it. And I think you'll find that your writing skills will improve a lot if you do this. But as always, I'm open to hearing all of your thoughts about this, so please let me know in the comments what kind of good or bad advice you've received in the past. Thanks for coming here and learning with me today. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next lesson.